Destination San Diego and the Super Bowl. The goal of all 28 NFL teams. The Bears plan to return. The man Chicago feels will lead them there is back in action. Finally recovering from shoulder surgery, number 9, quarterback Jim McMahon. The Bears have won 23 in a row when the colorful McMahon has started as Chicago's field general. And he returned to the lineup in the second half last week in Tampa. Rallied the Bears from 20-0 down. Final minutes, he hit the Bears' new star, Neil Anderson, with a winning touchdown. A 27-26 win. Today in Soldier Field, Chicago, before a sellout 66,000, McMahon will start for the first-place Bears against the 1-5 Kansas City Chiefs. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Paul McGuire, 11-year veteran of the old American Football League wars. Merlin Olsen is off on special assignment. It's a beautiful day in Chicago for football. 60 degrees, cloudy skies, very little breeze, and the Bears are atop their division, and they've got McMahon back.
You know, the interesting thing about the Bears, they started this season thinking that they wouldn't have McMahon at all. All of a sudden, they have him back and starting. What an added boost it is for this football team.
Now, how does Kansas City win this game? They're 1-5, last in offense, last in defense in the NFL.
They have to do one thing in particular. They have to hold on to the football. They have a good defensive football team, Dick, but they turn the ball over too many times. And if you get behind on the Bears, you just can't come back.
Well, with McMahon as the general, the Chicago team, as you all know, is a team full of characters, from the refrigerator to the great defense to Walter Payton, one of the greatest of all times. But there is a new star in the loop.
Isn't it amazing? Yesterday we talked to Kansas City people. We asked them about Walter Payton. They talked about this man, Neil Anderson. Leading receiver, leading rusher. They say he does it all. We said again, what about Walter Payton? They again talked about Neil Anderson. That's the man we're going to see.
Anderson averaging 6.6 yards a carry, and a concern of head coach Frank Gans in his initial season with the Chiefs, a man who quotes Shakespeare, and it's been all tragedy the last 5 weeks. No comedies for him, as Gans, 48 years of age, as is Mike Ditka. They grew up near each other near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Dick, Mike said to us yesterday, doesn't our team look loose? We said he looked like he was a little nervous about the game.
The kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers, as Kevin Butler kicks it off, and Paul Palmer, the All-America from Temple, is deep for Kansas City. Sun trying to break through the overcast here in Chicago. A perfect November 1st for football. Palmer in his own end zone. He'll take it out, hesitates, and barely makes it to the 19-yard line. Jim Morrissey, number 51 from Michigan State, made the tackle. The Chiefs line up this way with Bill Kenny, the veteran quarterback, rookie Christian Okoye, and Larry Moriarty. They're going to start with their big fullbacks. Okoye at 253 and Moriarty at 237 behind Kenny. Give him a little more blocking strength and test the inside of the Bear defense. The wide receivers are Page and Carson. Tight end, Jonathan Hayes. That's Carson, who had a big game against San Diego last Sunday in motion. Boy, Okoye was met by number 22, Dave Dorson. Dorson, the safety man, was in the backfield, almost took the handoff from the quarterback, Kenny.
They said they were going to have a safety blitz in this game, but I didn't think they were going to do it on the first play.
A generous gain of 1. It'll be second and a long 9. The offensive line, Donnelly is the center, Alt and Eatman the tackles, Baldinger and Addix the guards. Okoye and the rookie from Azusa Pacific blast for 5. It'll be 3rd and 4 defensively for the Bears. Hampton, McMichael, the refrigerator Perry, and Dent on the front line. The linebackers as good as most any in the NFL. The Giants might claim they're better. Wilson, Singletary, Wilbur Marshall, Reggie Phillips, and Vesty Jackson at the corners, and Todd Bell and Dave Dorson, 2 hitters at safety. Herman Hurd, number 44, replaces Larry Moriarty. He's out on a wing. 3rd and a long 4. Out of the backfield, complete to Hurd. It's a first down and more as he's bumped out of bounds at the 38-yard line by Reggie Phillips.
Dick, on that play there, what they did is they took Stephon Page and put him in motion, which put triple formation to the right-hand side, and then you'll just see Hurd checks up the block, slips out of the backfield, no one on him, picks up the first down.
Yeah, the Chiefs really needed to do something positive on their first possession, didn't they?
At least get one first down to get them started, because they did so poorly against San Diego a week ago.
Moriarty and Okoye now behind Kenny, who fumbles a snap from center, picks it up and moves straight into the grasp of Dan Hampton, number 99. And the Chiefs fortunate to hang on to the football. Bill Kenny, Pro Bowler in '83 when he broke Lenny Dawson's season records passing for the Chiefs. Grew up in San Clemente, California. 2nd and 9. Bears in essence with 9 men on the line of scrimmage defensively. Now 10 as Singletary moves up. Okoye. A hard 3. Otis Wilson and others on the stop.
They're gonna talk to Kenny because that ball was snapped with less than 1 second on the clock. Christian Okoye is a big fullback, and he's got excellent hands. You see his thumb is taped, but here's Okoye. But coming down the line of scrimmage, Otis Wilson is an outside linebacker and meets him in the hole.
6 plays for the Chiefs on this opening drive. 3 on carries by Okoye. Good average, 4.5 in his rookie season. Shotgun 3rd and 6. Kenny has a man. Stephon Page at midfield has a first down for the Chiefs. Vesti Jackson with a tackle. Good throw. That was a deep out and had plenty on it.
Excellent throw.
Brought down by Vesti Jackson.
There are the Chiefs. Okoye, Moriarty, Carson and Page, the wideouts, and Jonathan Hayes starting for Walt Arnold at tight end. One of the changes made by Frank Gans. Walt, Baldinger, Donnelly, Addix, and Lutz, the offensive line. Couple of first downs for Kansas City on this opening drive. 3.5 minutes played. Hayes, the tight end, in motion. Carson. First down at the 34 of the Bears. So suddenly this becomes an interesting drive for Kansas City.
Kenny reads safety blitz by Durson. Number 22 comes up in the middle. Watch Durson, and he's picked up right at the line of scrimmage by Addix. Kenny reads it, sees Carlos Carson, knows that it's one-on-one coverage on the outside, hits him right in the seam.
16 yards on the play. Carson, who had 9 catches, nearly 200 yards against the Chargers last Sunday. Changing his play is Kenny at the line of scrimmage. Draw to Moriarty. Ran into his own man. The refrigerator Perry got to him first, but Moriarty plowing forward to the 28-yard line and a gain of 6.
William Perry, the refridge. Take a look at it. He's on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and that's Baldinger, number 77, blocking him. Perry fighting things off. He's just trying to find Moriarty. Now he can't find him, and he sees him come back up in the hole, slips off, makes a tackle, but that's a 7-yard gain.
Chiefs driving into field goal range, at least on this first drive. This is Okoye, nothing there to the outside. Richard Dent shut it off, and there was plenty of Bears there to finish Okoye. The Bears, Hampton, McMichael, Perry, and that was the Super Bowl defensive front 4. No changes there either. Wilson, Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall. You really love Marshall, I know, Paul McGuire. You'll be talking about him. Phillips and Jackson. If there's a weakness, some would say maybe the corners, and then Bell and Dorson, who play safety like linebackers.
But what helps the corners is when the linebackers, as good as they are, put heat on the passer. It's a lot easier for corners.
3rd down, 4.5. Here they come. Kenny outside to Carson, and the Chiefs will score a touchdown. Well, Kenny read the blitz well and got some key blocks, and that freed up one-on-one as Reggie Phillips, the corner man, could not handle Carson, and the Chiefs score first.
Dick, Reggie Phillips made a rookie mistake. He went for the ball instead of going for the man.
29 yards on the score, 10 plays, and 81 yards for the Chiefs with the opening kickoff. Lowry out of the hold of Kenny for the extra point. And Kansas City certainly gets the Bears' attention as this crowd very quiet at Soldier Field. 9 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the opening quarter, and the Chiefs have scored on their first drive.
42 seconds.
Ditka. And another drive like that, and those lips will be moving, and some growls will be heard along those sidelines.
Maybe he was right. They were a little too loose yesterday.
Well, Kenny, very impressive, went 4 out of 4 on that drive, 66 yards, and hits Carson 29 yards for the score. Carlos Carson's 5th touchdown of this season to lead Kansas City. Tampa Bay last week scored in their opening drive against the Bears and did everything but win, and McMahon saved the day for Chicago in the second half. Dennis Gentry, a dangerous return man, as Lowry spins it high but fairly short. Gentry at the 8. He carries it back to the 35. Sherman Cockcroft with a tackle. Let's go back to the scoring pass.
All right, take a look at 35, Christian Okoye. Wilbur Marshall comes in, he picks him up. Kenny red blitz, sees Carlos Carson on the outside, one-on-one on Phillips, and it's a touchdown. But the fact that Kenny is picking up the blitzes with his team. Now, when you take a look at Carlos Carson, here's what Phillips does wrong. Instead of going for Carlos, he goes for the interception. Once he does that, Carson catches the ball. It is now touchdown. That's what you give up.
Jim McMahon gets a hand as he brings the Bears offense on the field, trailing 7-0. Walter Payton, the setback behind him. And it's Payton. No gain for Walter Payton, who starts today with only 96 yards rushing on the season and a 2.5 average. Payton, Neil Anderson has been brilliant in this young season. Willie Gault, the great sprinter, the deep threat, Ron Morris, they really like his hands. And the veteran at tight end, Emery Moorhead, solid, underrated. Covert, their best lineman. Bortz, Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn, the front 5. Anderson in motion. McMahon's first pass attempt. Screen to the tight end, Moorhead. Fumbles the ball, and Kansas City's Deron Sherry recovers. So the Chiefs with a lead 7-0 and an early turnover.
It was a super call because putting Neil Anderson in motion to the outside sets up this screen. The linebackers are out of there. You see Dino Hackett 53 go back straight. Now here the blocking is back to the outside. Bortz is out there, no problem. But with the hit, and I believe it's Jack Del Rio that gets the hit, fumble, Kansas City ball.
Del Rio and Bill Moss from behind had a hand on it as well. Cherry with a recovery. First down, Kansas City at the 41 of Chicago. Let's see if they can capitalize. Kenny over the middle, almost intercepted by Phillips. Into a crowd as he tried to hit Stephon Page.
Chicago Bears that time really disguised the defense. It looked like Stephon Page was out there with Phillips all alone, but all of a sudden they backed out, double coverage.
Early scores, Indianapolis. Eric Dickerson, the new Colt. Cincinnati a field goal lead against Houston. And quiet around the NFL and our early scores. Here 7-0 Kansas City. 8:13 left in the first period, and the Chiefs with a turnover. Draw play to Moriarty. Maybe a yard. Wilbur Marshall from Florida.
Moriarty looks like he takes about 3 steps, Dick, and then he starts to move. He doesn't seem to be quick enough to get to that hole on the draw.
Moriarty, former Oiler, drafted in the 5th round in '83 out of Notre Dame. 3rd down and 9. Henry Marshall, the veteran wide receiver, in. to Carson. First down inside the 30. 12 more yards. Mike Singletary made the stop.
Dick, did you look at the Bears defensive line? They had 4 people coming in, and watch where they all end up. On the ground. This offensive line just pushes everything aside. Look at Kenny. There's not a black jersey to be found. All he had to do was wait for Carlos Carson to get in the clear.
Deep purple. They say in Chicago, you're going to get letters. Deep purple jersey.
They don't have my eyes. It's black.
First down, Kansas City with the lead, 7-0. 3 catches already for Carson as he picks up right where he left off against San Diego last Sunday. A quickie outside, incomplete to Page. Almost looked as if that might have been deflected. Otis Wilson, 55 on the coverage. Kenny, who played his freshman football at Arizona State under Frank Cush and then went to Northern Colorado, where he was a tight end and a backup quarterback. He was really a long shot to be a starter in the National Football League at that position. Okoye, a big hole. And he does get off the blocks. And comparing him to Moriarty, Okoye, he's at top speed in a hurry and picks up a big 9.
What did Ditka say to us, Dick, yesterday? He said, "This guy, you can't bring him down with one man. Just take a look at the blocking up front. Donnelly's blocking up front, Okoye, and it takes 3 people or 4 people to bring the man down." And that's what Ditka was afraid of.
The Chiefs trying to equal their total in the first quarter of the first 6 games. They lead 7-0 with 6 minutes left in the first period. Big play, 3rd and 1.
Go straight at him.
They do, and Okoye picks up 5 easily, and that one almost went the distance. Dave Dorison at safety saved the score.
We're looking at 2. We'll get to it in a second.
Well, this is, you get the other end of it now. We go to NFL Live.
All right, Dick, here's Eric Dickerson, his first carry in a Colts uniform on their first possession of the game. He didn't start, but Ron Meyer got him in there a few plays later. He gains 4 yards on that carry, and the drive winds up with Indianapolis kicking a field goal for a 3-0 lead.
Thank you, Bob. First down for Kansas City, leading 7-0, and Kenny looking for more. He's got Hayes open. Touchdown, Jonathan Hayes.
Dick, Kenny is putting the ball on target. There's just no question about it. But the offensive line, this isn't the same offensive line that the Kansas City Chiefs people saw a week ago. San Diego just did everything they wanted to do against this offensive line and the backs by blitzing. All of a sudden, they've just held the Chicago Bears right on the line of scrimmage and then come back and throw a touchdown pass.
Late flag on the play, apparently. Although we have not had any, I guess there was not. So the try for point by Lowry, who's on a streak. 131 straight extra points made by Lowry, second only to the Steelers' Anderson. And that one high and deep and down the center. And the Kansas City Chiefs, a 14-point underdog coming into the game, lead by 14 with 5:19 left in the first period.
15-yard touchdown pass.
Hawkeye Jonathan Hayes with his second National Football League touchdown, and the Chiefs lead 14-0 after the fumble recovery at the Bear 41. And now Lowry to kick it off. Gentry and Sanders deep for Chicago. A penalty of 5 yards back to the 30 against the Chiefs for the, what, end zone celebration?
Delay of the game, end zone celebration. You can't be happy when you score now.
Spiking -5. Gentry at the 13, 20. 40, one man to beat Lowry, and Lowry won't touch him. Dennis Gentry. He almost took the first one back for a score, and he really rambled on that one.
in commercial, Enberg said to me, he said, hey, you know, he almost had the first one. He been a step sooner. Take a look at what happens. Watch the blocking. The two men coming down get taken to the inside. Once you do that, you open the outside hole. Gentry makes a break. The only man he has to beat is Lowry. And then number 37, Douglas, tries to catch up. He can't.
Kevin Butler, good job of spotting the ball, and a penalty flag is down.
Offside, Kansas City.
Well, the extra point will be good. They'll tack it on to the kickoff. Dennis Gentry, 88 yards for the kickoff return touchdown to get the Bears right back in this in a hurry. 5 yards against Kansas City on the extra point. 5 minutes left in the first period, and the Bears pull within a touchdown, 14-7. And what an asset to have a man like Gentry and a man like McKinnon that can get you a touchdown in 10 seconds. Well, 5 minutes left in the opening quarter. It's 14-7 Kansas City. 5-yard penalty for the offside. So Butler kicks off from his 40. Paul Palmer in the center, deep man for Kansas City, and it's aimed toward Palmer, who will not take it out. Let's go back to the touchdown. First, the Kansas City score, the pass from Kenny to his tight end.
Kenny is reading the defenses so well because now he's got Jonathan Hayes. He's one-on-one on Bell. But watch what Bell does here, Dick. He jumps too soon. If he had waited a second, he'd have been there, been able to knock the ball down. Hayes, it's touchdown. Now Gentry. I think the guy that misses him is Darrell Colbert, number 81, who was a receiver. Right about here, he commits himself. But he is a wide receiver. He is on offense. He doesn't play defense. I'll give him that excuse.
88 yards for Gentry, and now Kenny starts at his own 20. No contact, so no offside. Okoye. Steve McMichael, who played at Texas. I asked him, do you really hunt rattlesnakes? You know, McMichael, he's a character. There's no question. He's your kind of guy, McGuire. And I said, what is the key to hunting rattlesnakes? He said, well, you get a dumb sportscaster. And I said, all right, that's all. I don't need to hear anymore. 2nd and 7.
Sneak up on him very carefully.
Kenny off to a good start. 2 touchdown throws. Going deep for Carson. Can't quite get to it as that ball died on him. Try to cut inside Reggie Phillips. Well, the Chiefs are going for it.
If that ball would have been put on target, it might have been another touchdown. Carlos Carson made a great adjustment behind Phillips. He knew that he couldn't go through him to get to the ball, so he just took a step back and then went around him. If the ball would have been long enough, might have been gone.
Came in leading the Chiefs with 15 catches, 4 for touchdowns. Carson, former LSU Tiger.
Dick, and there's a young man that they didn't think was going to make this football team in training camp.
There's where the Bears put the pressure on you. 3rd and 7, deep in your own end. Whoa. Boy, a jailbreak by the Bears. Kenny had no chance.
I was talking about how well the offensive line was doing. This was absolutely total breakdown. Wilbur Marshall, Hampton, just watch what happens. If they just caved the entire offensive line in, back on Kenny. He has no shot. Durson's even back to the safety.
Punt by Kelly Goodburn. McKinnon takes a chance, gets away from that first man, Robinson, and then is tackled at the 41-yard line. McKinnon, who returned a punt for a touchdown against Tampa Bay last week. 43 yards on the kick, 2-yard return, and a timeout with 3:52 left in the first period. With Paul McGuire, and people ask me all week, well, what's it like to work with Paul McGuire? I said, well, I work with Al McGuire. I mean, you're out of the same cut of cloth. I mean, anything can happen.
Wait, what's it like working with Paul McGuire?
What do you say to yourself when you shave every morning?
I said to myself, what's it like working with Dick Enberg? And I'm finding out it's wonderful.
It's nice to have you with us, and I know you'd like to get out of New York and the studio there. It's good to get you back in the booth where we've admired your work for a long time.
It's nice to be in the fresh air.
Yeah, with NBC and then later with ESPN. So the Bears trailing 14-7 look for a tying drive as McMahon goes to work. Neil Anderson. former #1 pick from the University of Florida, to the Kansas City 44, and a first down. Del Rio and Lewis with the tackle as we check our 10-minute ticker. New England ties the Raiders. Pittsburgh jumps out at Miami 14-0. Washington with a field goal lead against the Bills. Indianapolis, as you heard earlier, Eric Dickerson has played for his new team. Houston with a lead at Cincinnati 7-3. New Orleans an early leader, as are the Cardinals. Here 14-7 Kansas City. Peyton to the 43-yard line. The couple. Art Still, a veteran defensive end, number 67, with the tackle. As we look at Walter Payton go back to the huddle, here's one of the greats of all time. I mean, Peyton's place is Canton, Ohio. He'll be in the Hall of Fame when he is eligible. In talking with Ditka yesterday, it was really interesting. This is a year of dignity for Peyton, his last as a Bear.
I think, and they should afford him the chance to go out in dignity. I mean, here's a man that played with teams, so many bad teams, and all of a sudden he got to play with the good teams. And I think the most amazing thing about him, he's never missed starting a game except for one, and he said, I could have started that game and they wouldn't let me.
And he still has the attitude, that fresh attitude of a young rookie. He loves to play, loves being a part of this team. He's announced that this will be his last year. Could change his mind, but it does appear this will be his final season. Second down 8. Long 8. Tight end Boso in motion. It's Anderson. Nothing there but Jack Del Rio, the former All-America at Southern California.
You know, one other thing when you were talking about Peyton, Dick, I just have the feeling if he does retire, in fact retires after this season, he's probably going to show up at practice for the first 2 or 3 weeks anyway, just out of habit. He loves it so much.
Really, did you go through that withdrawal when you hung him up?
I was so much more fortunate than anyone, for the simple reason that I went right to NBC and started doing games, and I was still involved with the players, seeing the games and at the game. And it's going to be difficult not being able to do that for Peyton.
Anderson loses 2, so 3rd and 10. Offside. The give is to Dennis Gentry, but Moss and Koch had jumped offside. Whether or not drawn offside, we'll see. Five against the Chiefs, so instead of getting the ball, it'll be 3rd and 5.
Now here's one of the corners. Is Willie Gault. Look at Willie Gault. Chicken fighting. Ross. Okay. Oh, but that's legal. Because you know why it's legal? Because Gault's trying to block him. That's why. If he was going out for a pass pattern, that would have been holding.
Defensive signal sent in from the Chiefs sidelines. 3rd and 5 at the Kansas City 39.
Les Miller giving the signal.
As Art Still, the 10-year veteran from Kentucky, able to grab him by that right ankle and not let go, and the Bears will have to punt it away.
Art Still's one of the guys that, you know, Dick, for years when you were doing these guys, the Kansas City Chiefs, it's 3-4 all the time. All of a sudden now it's a 4-3, where he can go one-on-one with a tackle, not worried about being double-teamed all the time.
Brian Wagner was with the Denver Broncos when we saw them play in London. Jitter Fields from the University of Texas. What a name. Jitter Fields. They hope for Jitterbug, his running style, not because of his nerve condition in this game at Soldier Field.
I'd say he's a little nervous right now.
Chiefs like to go after the punt. They get the kicker, but they got the ball too, so that will not be roughing. Got a hand on the ball. Albert Lewis, there may be no finer man in that talent, particular talent, going after the punt. Albert Lewis.
Well, take a look at the punter. He turns right in towards Albert Lewis. Albert Lewis they wouldn't have called it anyway because he was blocked into the kicker.
So the ball goes out of bounds at the 27-yard line, a 14-yard kick by Wagner, and he was lucky he got the 14. Lewis was almost too far in. He was right on his foot. 14-7 Kansas City, 1:06 left in the first period. They have a little trouble with the chain gang getting established, so referee Tom Dooley holds up play. The Chiefs with an 81-yard drive to open the game, and Kenny hit Carson 29 yards for a score. Then a fumble by Emery Moorhead, recovered at the Bear 41, and Kenny took him in immediately. The touchdown pass 15 yards to Jonathan Hayes. The Bears have countered on an 88-yard kickoff return touchdown by Dennis Gentry.
Don't stop throwing the ball.
Spinning out to the 32-yard line. You heard one of the calls, zebra, zebra, as there were changes both offensively and defensively.
This one guy say, I don't want to cover Page. I'd rather cover the referee. I'll take the zebra.
It isn't as complicated as it seems.
Yeah. Seems logical to me.
Carlos Carson out, and Henry Marshall into the game, number 89, who had 3 catches last week. He's the all-time pass receiver, Kansas City history, past Otis Taylor. They both wore 89. He's far right. They run the other way. Okoye breaks one tackle. And the young man from Nigeria is to the 48-yard line before Mike Singletary can bring him down.
Okoye just runs right through Dent, but it isn't that easy to make this tackle because all Dent could get on him was an arm. Take a look to the right of your screen, number 95, also being blocked by Moriarty. But here comes the blocking to the outside. Excellent blocking by the offensive line. Ballinger, number 77, gets downfield, and it's first down.
Well, the Chiefs with a first down near midfield as the first quarter comes to an end. Here at Soldier Field, Chicago, the underdogs lead by 7. The Chiefs 1-5, the Bears 5-1. You would have thought we made a mistake. The helmets and the numbers should be reversed. But look at that. No yards rushing, only 17 passing for Chicago, while Kenny and Kansas City have had the ball over 11 minutes, less than 4 for the Bears.
That one turnover cost a touchdown.
Gentry's kickoff return for a touchdown, keeping the Bears in the game. That's Carlos Carson. Boy, the way he's going to have a bundle, and a flag is down. 5 yards on the pass play.
I just got to believe that this may be a personal foul on Dent, because what happened is he was blocked at the line of scrimmage. Okay? 72. Period.
First down. Late hit on the passer Kenny by the refrigerator.
Well, I was just looking at Dent on the other side because he had a double team. But here comes Perry. They have a deal on with Hampton. Perry goes to the outside. He beats Donnelly to center. And then, yeah, but who did he hit?
Oh, he hit him with his helmet, but it was so fast. And when you have 335 pounds hitting you, even if it's a little nudge, it's felt by Kenny. And that was the call. You didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it. He's got a quick head.
15 yards and a first down for Kansas City at the 32. Okoye to the 27, about 5. Wilbur Marshall, number 1 pick, one of the many number 1s playing on this Bear team. They've really selected well through the years, the last 10 especially.
Tough linebacker, number 50, Mike Singletary. Wilbur Marshall. Marshall goes up in the hole and gets blocked by Moriarty. But look at Singletary. Heads up. He knows how big Okoye is, and he knows he's going to get some help from Marshall. Hit him head up, what you have to do, and stop him. Hold him till you get some help.
2nd and 5. Okoye again pinned inside the 25. Dino Hackett with a neck injury. We understand Hackett has been injured as well as Albert Lewis and Kevin Ross. So that could really be a struggle for the Chiefs defense if they lose those 3 outstanding performers as you look at the scores.
Dino Hackett, the only way to keep him off the field is if it's broken, and then it's questionable. He may come back out.
3rd down and 2 for Kenny and the Chiefs. Okoye has the first down at the 20-yard line. 253-pound Christian Chocho Okoye.
Okoye, not only does he have quick feet, but he gets them up. All right, Moriarty, number 32, is the fullback outside. All he wants to do is to isolate on Wilson. Just hit him for a second to hold him. McMichaels, number 76, tries to tackle Okoye at the feet. He just jumps out of that, and Wilbur Marshall finally makes the tackle, but it's a first down.
They give Okoye a breather. Herman Hurd into the backfield, number 44, with Moriarty.
Now throw one.
Threw that one away. Carson broke to the inside, and Kenny threw it away. He saw too many Bear uniforms.
Carson, you have to believe he ran the wrong route, because on the other side of the field, Stephon Page, number 83, was into the post, into the middle of the field. Carson ends up there. You don't have 2 wide receivers in the same spot. He was supposed to run towards the post, back towards the corner. Didn't do it.
Darrell Colbert, the rookie from Texas Southern, is wide right. And that's Carson in motion from the near side. Draw play, Moriarty. For a couple, Wilbur Marshall makes another tackle.
We could have recorded Wilbur Marshall's name maybe 30 times before we even started today. Just plug it in. Wilbur Marshall, Wilbur Marshall.
He finally made All-Pro last year after he was overlooked, they felt, in the big Super Bowl season.
Okay. Kaufman there, he's going to the inside, and now they're double team and Singletary. You think they don't believe? Here's Singletary and Paul Kaufman. That's a takedown and almost a pin.
10th play of this drive, 3rd and 7.
Here they come.
Stephon Page, the nearest Chief, but Kenny had to unload in a hurry, and here comes the field goal unit. Nick Lowry to try first field goal attempt in quite some time. He's only 2 for 2 on the year.
Well, that's got to be a sick feeling for a quarterback when you know that they're going to send 7 or 8 guys at you, and you've only got a second to get the ball off.
It'll be 35 yards on the attempt by Lowry. 3rd all-time NFL, as Morton Anderson of the Saints has now moved into the top spot in accuracy. Gary Anderson and Lowry 3rd. It's blocked. Dan Hampton picked up by Mike Richardson.
Tremendous play by Hampton, but this is the fault of the kicker. The ball was too low. Lowry didn't get the ball up. Watch right in the center of the line. Number 99 hits the center, drives him back. And now watch Hampton's arms. Up in the air. Look at how high he is. Bang. That's beautiful.
So at the 35-yard attempt, nothing for the Chiefs. It remains 14-7. Hampton with a block. Back in Chicago, Illinois, along Lake Michigan Soldier Field, the Bears, Hampton blocking the field goal attempt, 14-7. Kansas City leads. And McMahon starts from his own 25. Walter Payton hammered at the 27. Hampton from Arkansas. When he's not playing football, he's quite an accomplished musician, and he's a character. They're not monsters of the Midway. He says, we're congenial monsters. We say thank you, use napkins and stuff. He's a beauty.
He really is. And he loves playing.
Little town in Arkansas, farm boy. Jacksonville, Arkansas. Intercepted by number 55, Lewis Cooper, on the deflection out of Moorhead's hands, and it fell right into the lap of the Kansas City linebacker at the 36-yard line.
What did I say to you in the open? The Kansas City Chiefs, in order to win this ball game, must not turn the ball over. We have 2 turnovers now by the Chicago Bears. And that ball was a little bit to the outside, but Moorhead had both hands on it, should have caught the ball. Cooper is there and said, hey, look what I found. Here comes Moorhead off the line. Now, they're going to be picked up by linebackers. You got Pearson on one side and Cooper here. They're just double teaming him. Watch what happens. The ball hits him right in the arms and then right into the hands of Cooper. And that is an interception. You notice how he got his hands underneath the ball.
Emory Moorhead involved in both turnovers. It was his fumble that set up a Kansas City touchdown after a reception. Now the interception through his mitts. Into the arms of William Perry goes Okoye. And Perry, a man with his size who can dunk a basketball. Well, Chiefs defense aren't on the field now, but when they get on the field, that's something to remember, that they have been the best in the NFL the last 4 years with 118 interceptions, but only 6 counting the one today.
And you think about the Chiefs last year, Dick, getting to the playoffs with really no offense.
Kenny, a fake pass, and that didn't fool the Bears at all. Little pump fake and then the draw, and Perry and Wilson were in the thick of it. Livery Fridge. The Gallopin' Roast. He is the Gallopin' Roast. Well, you know, the Gallopin' Ghost. The person through Great Red Grange here with the Bears, number 77, and he's the Gallopin' Roast, and he can run.
Oh, I know he can. Shotgun.
3rd down and 8. 9 Bears right on the line of scrimmage. Is down as the Bears pouring through on Kenny.
It's against Kansas City, so it doesn't make any difference. Illegal motion.
Number 76, illegal formation. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
John Alt.
Here's a nice shot of this defense. Take a look at the defensive line. You see the penetration now. Here comes Dent, number 95. You see the flag. Wilbur Marshall was actually blocked about 1 yard off the line of scrimmage and then almost gets back there. But the guy that got back there was Otis Wilson, 55.
Or you win games on defense, and the Bears have had the best defense in the NFL if you count the last 4 years, and they're right there again this season. They're coming after him. And a good kick by Goodburn. It will bounce into the end zone. Touchback Chicago at the 20-yard line. 43 yards minus the 20 on the touchback and a timeout. 9:20 left in the opening half in Chicago. Look at Christian Okoye and the offense of the Chiefs. 69 yards rushing to the Bears, 1 yard rushing. They've led the NFL in rushing the last 3 years. Payton and Anderson behind McMahon from the 20. Payton gets about 4 on that carry, so it's 4 carries, 7 yards for Payton.
And Payton at that time did not go where he was supposed to go, where the play was designed. Didn't go there.
Moorhead with a couple of turnovers is benched by Ditka, and Cap Boso from University of Illinois has replaced him at tight end.
Football name. Cap Boso.
Casper Boso. Anderson. Down at the 30, and I believe he has a first down.
Notice the difference coming out of the backfield when Anderson takes the ball as opposed to Walter. Walter's lost a few steps. And I don't want to be the guy talking about a legend. But take a look at Walters out in front. Payton, number 34, gets an excellent block to the inside. And here comes Anderson. Quick steps, good blocking downfield. That's Willie Gault blocking on Lewis, Albert Lewis, number 29.
Oh, they gave the Bears a tough spot. And now they changed it. They had placed it at the 29. Now they move it almost to the 30, where it will be just shy of a first down. Neil Anderson, a name certainly to mark for Chicago because he has star written all over him. Bears unable to sustain any drive, and we're 8:40 left in the first half. Oh, they had 2 men in motion, so that'll be 5 yards against Chicago. They had the wide receiver Morris in motion, and then Payton started in motion. and that's a 5-yard no-no.
Well, you also got a defensive linebacker on the top side. I think it was Jack Del Rio, number 50. He was offside across the line of scrimmage.
We have an illegal shift. Two men moving on the offense. Offsides, defense. Penalties offset. Third down.
Well, that's better news for Chicago because they get another crack at it 3rd and inches.
The old double dipper. But Del Rio was across the line of scrimmage and made contact.
Now the Bears again on 3rd and inches. Well, this would be a great spot. You know, Ditka has a little gambling blood in him. To everyone looking for the little short sneak and go up on top and try to get 6 in a hurry.
But you better make it work.
Same play, and McMahon behind the wedge blocking up the middle has the first down. Now Jim McMahon taking his whacks as he goes on the sneak. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player in today's game, announcing that at the conclusion of today's contest from Chicago. McMahon, they say, is such a good racquetball player. We asked if he was the best on the Bears. He said not only the best, he can beat most of the other guys playing left-handed.
And that's the only way most of them will play him, if he does play left-handed. But he forgot to tell all those guys that he's ambidextrous. That means he can't use either hand.
Complete and a fine catch as Boso goes up to spear that one with Lloyd Burris all over him. Nice catch by Boso, who had a couple last week in the second half at Tampa Bay.
Got man-to-man coverage. Lloyd Burris, number 34, the strong safety. And watch, he sees the tight end. He's got Bosa right there. I mean, it was a good play all the way around, not only by the offense, but also by the defense.
Veteran Burris, part of that great back four of Kansas City of Lewis, Burris, Cherry, and Ross. McMahon has a man wide open. And number 83, Willie Gault, leaping high, saved an interception.
You bet he did. Albert Lewis, number 29, Dick, was just standing there waiting on the ball because he knew the ball was overthrown. And Albert Lewis is just going to see him now. He's going to sit and wait. Now, he's covering Gault, but Gault goes up in the air, tries to catch the ball, but just gets his hand on it to knock it away, or else this may be touchdown.
McMahon unhappy with himself. 3rd and 7.
If Willie Gault was 7 feet 8, he wouldn't have caught that ball.
Flag down. Wide open is Anderson. First down, Chicago. Boy, that Anderson can fly in the open field, and we're going to move quickly ourselves to New York.
Well, earlier, Dick, we showed you Eric Dickerson's debut with the Colts. Here's a 12-yard run by Bo Jackson of the Los Angeles Raiders. He's carried 4 times for 23 yards. We'll have the second part of our exclusive interview with him coming up at halftime. Dick?
All right, well, stay tuned for that. Bo Jackson. Now, the Raiders now in the harness. Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson as the Raiders trying to put some pieces together. And, of course, Eric Dickerson now joins the Colts. We'll be seeing them next week. A couple of weeks down in Miami.
They'll know the plays by then.
Walter Payton skidding down. Short yardage. Let's see what the scores are elsewhere. New England takes the lead. Grogan to Osi Tatupu, a pass. Pittsburgh's lead cut in half. Washington leads by 10 at Buffalo. Boy, did the Bills give up a lot for Cornelius Bennett? I know you don't think so, but
I really don't think so. Bell, even though Bell was a #1 draft pick, Bell was not happy there. They were not happy with Bell. I think that's a nice marriage. Send him as far away as you can.
Yeah, but 2 firsts and a second plus Bell for Bennett.
But they got a live player. You know, not looking at a draft choice. They're looking at a player, Cornelius Bennett, the best linebacker in college football last year.
2nd and 9, McMahon. Almost intercepted. It would have been the second for Lewis Cooper as McMahon had to throw it away as he was being pressured hard by Art Still, Bill Moss, and Bell.
You know, we've seen Kansas City, Dick, go offside about 3 different times. And what McMahon's doing that a lot of teams don't do, they'll come up on 1st and 2nd down, take the snap on the first count, on the hut 1, whatever. What McMahon's doing, he's going on like 3, 4, Kansas City is sitting there in that defense waiting and waiting and waiting, and all of a sudden they start committing themselves, and he's getting them to go off sides.
Yeah, one of the reasons McMahon gets him in and out of the huddle, he calls plays for the most part himself. That saves a lot of time, so he can play with that snap count.
Exactly. There it is
Offside again. McMahon goes through and throws it away. Willie Gold down the sidelines, but the Chiefs, their own worst enemy, that would be bringing up 4th and 9. Instead, it's 3rd and 4 on the penalty as Mike Bell jumped offside.
But Mike Bell just, his foot slipped, and he might have pulled a groin muscle on there because, I mean, he was just laid out. He never moved once he hit the ground.
The penalty.
Frank Gans, former jet fighter pilot. He flew commercially, a pilot, Continental Airlines, back in his younger days, and a graduate of the Naval Academy.
What he's trying to tell him is, hey, be patient with this thing. Here's McMahon again, this exact same thing we were talking about, Dick. He went on like a 4 count, and they know he's going to throw the ball, McMahon, and they want to get a good off the ball because they have a 4-man line, knowing that there's going to be one guy blocking them, and they're just going too soon. Be patient.
Wide open is Dennis Gentry. Gentry to the 28-yard line. First down. Man who scored the Bear touchdown on that 88-yard kickoff return comes up with a key reception on 3rd down.
Dick, when you know you have a 4-man rush, there's only one guy in the backfield. Someone has to cover this man. Now, Robinson has got to be covering Gentry. Take a look. Here goes Gentry out here. Robinson, number 30, is sitting in the middle of the field. Now he shows up, overruns the play. Deron Cherry has to come out along with Pearson to make the tackle. But number 30, Robinson, was supposed to be on Gentry.
5 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first half. The Bears trail by 7. McMahon. The Boso touchdown. Camp Boso. His first NFL touchdown.
Didn't we see in the first quarter, can he throw it to the tight end when he sees man-to-man coverage? Boso, he does it this time to that young man. Number 86, Boso. Great coverage. I mean, not great coverage, but a great move by Boso to be open for the touchdown. And McMahon found him.
So the blocked field goal attempt at one end. The Bears take over and march for a score. And now Butler tries to tie the game. The first sustained drive of this game by the Bears, and after the extra point, a little push and shove as the Bears culminate an 80-yard march in 10 plays after Hampton had blocked Lowry's field goal try. And Boso was wide open. They beat the linebackers last week, did the Chargers, and that's where McMahon attacks to score today. While we were away, we focused on the fiercely competitive head coach of the Bears, Mike Ditka, and he was reading the act to his offensive line.
What he's saying is, see how easy it is when you block somebody? Give McMahon some time. He can throw it.
Jim Harbaugh, the #1 pick, as you see the scoring drive of the Bears from the University of Michigan, he said, boy, am I lucky. Got to play for Bo Schembechler at Michigan, then I get to play for Ditka. Was I prepared for Ditka?
And Ditka really likes him a lot, too.
Paul Palmer. He's dangerous, and he's out to the 35-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown as McMahon looping the ball over the linebacker covering Boso.
Well, we saw in the first quarter where Kenny threw a touchdown to Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, found one-on-one coverage. Here we go again. Boso's out there. Lewis Cooper, number 55, trying to cover. You see Deron Cherry, number 20, come into the picture, Dick, but that wasn't his man. He was helping out on the wide receiver. Cooper had him man-to-man and couldn't cover him.
Kansas City's 14-0 lead has melted away. 4:54 left in the half. Okoye. Out to the 43-yard line. The thought for Kansas City was they know they're going to be plays, as we have seen in this half, where Kenny gets smothered, no chance. But with the style of defense of Chicago, if you guess right and the right play is called, you get the one big block or a mistake, you can break a big play. And Okoye has come close to a couple of very long runs.
You know, and in the first quarter especially, we saw Kenny read the blitz so very well, and then on top of that, found the man that was one-on-one covered and hit him. Don't stop doing that.
Changes his play on 2nd and 1. Okoye again has a first down at the 45. 2 more yards for the rookie fullback of the Chiefs. He has 60 yards in the half.
You know, even sitting as far up as we are, Dave, when Okoye runs into the big man, the refrigerator Perry, it's like a thud. I mean, it's not like pads clicking, it's the doom right here. Oops. And you just don't go any further.
That'll shake the jello. Okoye, a solid half of play. That was one of the keys of Gann's game plan. He had to run the football against the Bears. From his own 45, Kenny underneath to Carson. And Carlos Carson knocked out of bounds at the Bear 33. Reggie Phillips finally got to him. Todd Bell in pursuit the entire distance. 22 more yards for Carson.
Dick, did they clear this out beautifully? Take a look at it. You see Jackson there, but I don't think he's covering Carlos Carson. You see the mix-up. Here comes Bell, 25, trying to cover him. Otis Wilson, number 55, misses the tackle right here. Todd Bell, you're going to see him catching up at this point, but I don't know if that was his man. It might have been Vesty Jackson's man and let him go when he went across the middle.
Yeah, Jackson appeared to get picked off in that
by his own
crowd.
Man.
Yeah. So the Chiefs continue to move the ball well. Little draw play. Okoye. Oh, he's a powerful man down to the 23-yard line. Just ripping his way through a couple of Bear tacklers. 10 more for Okoye.
He went through a couple. You know the 2 he went through? I believe it was Dent, number 95, and also Wilbur Marshall, 58. Watch this. There's 1. There's Dent. He misses. That man down below is Wilbur Marshall, 58. He usually does not miss. And here's Okoye picking up a first down in the secondary. Well, he's going to have 100 yards by the half, pal.
Dorison had to bulldog him. 2:45 left in the half. The Chiefs, once again, in scoring territory.
Ditka yelled at the offensive line. What do you think he's going to say to these guys?
Little mix-up in the adjustment, and he ran out of time. Apparently not. They must have gotten off just at. Well, no, the flag, now we do see it. They didn't quite get off the play.
First down by 88.
You know, there's a situation. Why doesn't Kenny just, when he can see the clock because it's right in front of him and it's at field level, a 30-second clock, just stand up. Just stand up. He couldn't get the backs settled. Moriarty and Okoye. Now watch. Here's Okoye. Let's go 2 steps right. Okay, Moriarty, you go that. Now I want to go back this way. No, I want you over here. Now move back over there. Get over where you belong. Now, that's no. Okay, too much time.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is ballot day. Here's Soldier Field, the light rear, NFL.
So a timeout taken. We have not received word as to which team has called it. Well, this isn't the same Chiefs team, Paul McGuire, that has stumbled against Seattle and the 3 losses by the replacement Chiefs, and then had a tough game last week at San Diego, losing 42-21.
You can bet, Dick, that they worked on blitzes all week long. I'm talking about the offensive line and the fullbacks and the halfbacks working on blitzes because they knew it. Once you watch San Diego, what they did to Kansas City, and the Bears do blitz, you know they're going to come.
You know, you said what Kenny should have done is just stand up and call timeout.
He did. That's right. Good for him.
Wasn't it nice to go up and say, you know, I was right once?
Oh. When you see that 12 penalties, that was for 141 yards against Kansas City last week.
So it is 1st and 10 with 2:27 left in the half. Ball at the Bear 22. Okoye just as that hole opened, Otis Wilson down low was able to get a hand on Okoye underneath, trip him up, short yardage.
A gain of 4. Second.
At halftime, Bob Ahmad, Charlie Jones joins the guys in the studio, and Frank DeFord. Paul McGuire with us here in Chicago. Merlin Olsen off on location shooting for his new television series, and that is going to be a terrific series. Aaron's Way. 2-minute timeout given here at Soldier Field with the score, the Chiefs 14 and the Bears 14.
Kansas City has 2.
Far East. How far? Dayton? Nope, Taipei. You can't get there from here.
Are they calling roughing the passer again? But you're right, because when Moriarty, by the time he got to that end zone, it was 0-0 on the clock. They wouldn't have gotten a field goal out of it.
Well, he milked the clock, but it almost went dry on it.
That's right.
Well, no signal if there was a penalty, and Lowry to try the point after. And Kansas City in a rather remarkable first half showing. Team that's last in the league in offense, last in the league in defense coming into this game, coming against the highly favored, powerful Bears, takes the lead 21-14. Let's see if time would have run out.
Let's take a look at the clock. And Moriarty, Okoye blocks. Durson comes to the backside. That ball is thrown to the outside. Singletary can't get there. They might have had time, depending on how fast the official kind of waved his arms on Dick.
Ask Don Shula, sometimes 2 seconds isn't enough time. The game can end.
It's an eternity. You got Singletary on Moriarty, couldn't get there. Kenny threw the ball right to the outside where he had to. Touchdown.
Bill Kenny's 3rd touchdown pass of this first half, and under pressure he gives the Chiefs a 21-14 halftime lead. And Kenny, against the kind of defense that he had to face today, Kansas City, and you really believed we'd have a game, and you said the key at the start was?
Don't turn the ball over, and that's the one thing Kansas City has not done. And if they don't turn it over in the second half, I think they can stay with the Bears and beat them.
Well, the Bears might well be behind 21-7, but great teams have a way of manufacturing quick scores, and the key to their staying close was this play. First half, Dennis Gentry, after Kansas City had taken a 14-0 lead, fields the kick off by Nick Lowry and takes it 88 yards for a touchdown, and Gentry is getting set now to return the kickoff that will start the second half. Gentry, who burned the Browns with a kickoff return here last year, basically untouched for the score. And he's being deployed right now deep as Lowry sets it up. We're ready for the second half.
Nick, to kick Lowry's got to work on his speed.
Interesting how those kickers, the first move they make is to go the opposite direction of the way the runner is going, so that then they chase him from behind. Did you do that?
No. That's so you can get a good view of the rest of the players saying, help.
This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Nick Lowry lifts it toward the end zone of the Bears, and it's Gentry and Sanders. Gentry won't run it out. Let's look at the first half statistics. The numbers are going to be in the favor of the red and white of the Chiefs. 98 yards rushing, 83 by the rookie Okoye. 20 minutes, almost 21 minutes to less. Well, just over 9 minutes possession time Bears.
When you look at possession, first of all, take a look at the turnover. That's where the key is. Kansas City got the ball that went right up to that 14 points. But time of possession, the only time it's important is what you do with that time. And take a look what Kansas City did. 21 points. That's what's important.
And lost in that statistical matter was Dan Hampton's block of a makeable field goal that might be very important. We'll see at game's end. McMahon, lots of time. And throws it into the back of Ron Morris. Morris has not been the target. Dino Hackett injured in the first half. You can see that brace around his shoulder pads. Hackett starts the second half.
The ball is the Bears 20.
Number of plays. Tough to score when you don't have the pumpkin.
Someone said you could score more times on defense, more ways on defense. The only problem is, wouldn't you rather have the ball?
I think Mike Dick has reminded them of just that fact. He really hasn't called Neil Anderson's number much, and when he has, it's been productive. Here it comes. Anderson on the draw. Hit hard at the 23-yard line. Dino Hackett and Art Still. Lloyd Burris to help out. 3rd and 7, Chicago.
I told you the only way Dino Hackett's not going in the game is that the neck is broken, and then it better be really broken. I think what they do with this guy Hackett, he's such a good linebacker. And they lock him in an armored car from Sunday to Sunday just so he won't hurt anybody during the week. He's
the Butkus mobile.
Yeah, yes. He is a throwback to Butkus.
Dick Butkus is now a member of the Chicago Bear radio broadcasting team, and he and Paul McGuire exchanging pleasantries and stories before the game today. 3rd and 7. McMahon, and Art Still wraps him up after a 2-yard scramble, and the Bears start not well in this second half. We'll have to punt it away.
See, that's not a sack because it was a gain of 3, but you credit the defensive secondary. That time, Gentry came out of the backfield where they hit him a couple times in the first half, Dick. Burris was sitting there right on him, waiting on him. McMahon had no one to throw the ball to.
Brian Wagner's first punt nearly blocked by Albert Lewis. Did skid forward 14 yards. Jitter Fields, who was cut by the replacement Colts, and then signed by Kansas City and took one back 85 yards against Denver for a score.
Quite quiet here, isn't it?
High, fair catch Fields at the 42-yard line. So Kansas City opens in good field position, and Bill Kenny brings the offense on the field. Number 9 is the number for the quarterbacks today. Kenny wearing the same as McMahon, and you think back in Chicago Bear history, number 9 of the past, Billy Wade wore that single digit.
There's old 9.
I shall return. Well, McMahon is going to have to engineer another comeback as he did in Tampa Bay, if that's to prove prophetic.
If I were Chicago, I think I'd get away from that safety blitz and play a little bit more double coverage.
Okoye. And the big rookie barrels out to the 47, 48-yard line.
Uh-oh. That time, Jonathan Hayes, the tight end, number 85, was blocking on Richard Dent, number 95. Now, you see Dent, he's going to the official saying, hey, wait a minute, this guy's holding me. Is this holding? You're allowed to get your hands out in front. Here goes Jonathan. Now, this is the only part that's holding. When you kind of double dip him a little bit and get him right under the pits and also grab the hair there, that hurts.
2nd down and 5. Up the middle. Richard Dent made the play. He was the only Bear on this side of the ball, and had it not been for Dent, Okoye had some open daylight ahead.
Richard, I don't think is blocked here. Just take a look at it. That's all blocking down, and no one blocks Dent. All he does is go along the line of scrimmage. When Christian Okoye turns upfield, they went helmet to helmet, and you know who lost.
Okoye, who fumbled 49 times in college, and that was the kind of tackle we expect to see the ball pop free. 3rd and 4. A quickie and complete to Page. First down at the Bear 43. Dave Dorson.
Can't say enough about Kenny in this game, because every time that there's a blitz on, 3rd down situations, look who he finds. He goes out here to Stephon Page, and there's only one man covering him. They release the double coverage. Durson comes over. He's the only guy there. The next man is a linebacker, Wilbur Marshall, and you know he's not supposed to be all that far out covering him.
Kansas City with a first down. 3 minutes, 10 seconds into the second half. Going deep for Page. Touchdown! What a catch by Stephon Page. Oh, my.
Page, 43 yards, and the Bears touchdown.
When you look at where this ball is thrown, it was a great reception by Page. But when you look where Kenny threw the ball, and I'll tell you, he did not short arm this baby. He laid it right out over the defense, over the safety who was coming across, and it was touchdown.
Bears, who had allowed no more than 20 points anytime this season till last week, and now have given up 28 today, 28-14, and Bill Kenny has thrown 4 touchdown passes against a defense regarded as, if not the best, certainly one of the very best in the NFL. 43-yard touchdown reception as Bill Kenny, his personal high, 4 touchdown passes, 4 different receivers, Carson Hayes, Moriarty, and now that man, Stephon Page, as Lowry kicks it off toward Gentry. And he's going to return this one. And he's out to the 25-yard line, slowed by Lewis Cooper, and then secured by J.C. Pearson, number 24. Here it is, the flea flicker.
The flea flicker, and Moriarty back, but there's no penetration by the defensive line. Total blocking upfield, and then the ball over Durson. Got to get a better look at it. What happens is when Stephon Page gets alongside of Vesty Jackson, he's just loping along, and then he turns on the burners, beats him, but Kenny put the ball the only place it could be caught, over top of Durson and beyond Vesty Jackson.
Well, that showed 2 things you talk about as a scout looks at a receiver in college: concentration and that burst of speed to the ball. Page showing both. First down at the 25 for the Bears, down by 2 touchdowns. McMahon dumps it out of the backfield to Payton to the 28-yard line. Only 3.
Down by Pearson.
This is what Frank Gans had to say after the loss at San Diego. I'll get rid of people here. Yes, sir, you play or you're out of here. It was that kind of week for Kansas City. It was one of desperation emotionally. He had to get this team ready. He made changes, and they have played very well.
And looking at him eye to eye last night, Dick, he meant it. And he said, if you don't want to play here, go play someplace else, or don't play at all.
Second down, a long 7. Payton out of the backfield, steps out of bounds shy of the 30. Aaron Pearson, Dino Hackett there.
Out of bounds by Dino Hackett.
One of the men that started last week, Tim Cofield, he was benched. Lewis Cooper was benched briefly as he made a change. He was really unhappy with the play of his outside linebackers, and of course Dan Fouts, he just picked them apart clean.
Don't you sit here kind of wonder, is there something wrong with Neil Anderson? I mean, you know, he's carried the ball, I think 3 times totally in this ball game, and they're not going to him. They're going to Walter Payton.
Anderson, who started with 231 yards to lead the Bears, 6.6 is average per carry, 17 catches to lead the Bears. His number doesn't come up very often. Dennis Gentry dropped at the 34-yard line. That'll be just short of a first down, I believe.
You see what, and I believe, and it's all the way on the other side of the field. Gentry's laughing. What he did is he was going down. He threw the ball forward because he didn't think he had a first down. So he wanted to throw it beyond the red marker. Also got some skid marks there on his helmet. They were banging his head around a little bit. Look, when you see McMahon, he goes to the outside. Now Pearson is covering him. Watch what Gentry does. He catches the ball here. He's down. He sees the marker. Look at the marker. Now watch. Now the ball was pulled out, but he was happy it went ahead. I thought he had thrown the ball out.
Now they mark it at the 34 anyway, but he did get enough for a first down. And a big first down for McMahon and the Bears at the 10:31 mark of the 3rd quarter.
Here it comes. Now we can see it better. Pearson's got his hand. He's pulling the ball out. I thought he might have thrown it up there, but he was already down at this point, and that is not a fumble. The player was down, and he did have the first down.
Willie Gault to the left, Ron Morris to the right. The 36-yard line. Let's check other action now into the second half around the NFL. New England with Grogan replacing the injured Eason. Pittsburgh and Miami. Apparently that's going to take 4 touchdowns to win that one. Washington. They'll need Bennett. They'll need Bennett. Indianapolis 10-7. Tampa Bay 3-0. 9-7 Cincinnati over Houston at the half. 21-0 New Orleans at Atlanta, and Philadelphia 8 points better than St. Louis. Here 28-14, by far the most surprising score of the day. McMahon to goal. It's good. Willie Gault at midfield. Working against Kevin Ross on the right corner, a 13-yard play. First catch for Gault.
49.
It just looks like you can throw this all day long. Now look how far Ross is. Right now he's not even in the picture. He's at least 5 yards off a Galt. Now he looked at Jack Del Rio, number 50, the linebacker, coming out. But there's just no way that Del Rio can get from the center of the field outside to help short on that play. But the one thing that Ross is not going to do, and that's give you the bomb.
And Gold is the man that will stretch that defense. First down play. Anderson. Whoa, is he hit hard. Lloyd Burris coming up from the safety spot to drop him immediately, just shy of the KC 45.
We talked about the best lineman on Chicago is Jimbo Covert. All right. Is he coming down here on Dino Hackett? And look at Dino. No, you're not. You got to take a real wide move to get around him. I mean, you're not going through Covert.
Hackett, who leads Kansas City in tackles, had 13 in the first game, 16 in the next, 12 last week. Underneath Anderson. Or does he turn it on and a first down inside the 30?
I'm glad they listened to us down there. Get him in the game. You got to get Galt in the game. You got to get this young man, Anderson. And they're trying to cover him with a linebacker, and you're not going to do that. Hackett, number 56, is coming up on Anderson, but he's just too far away. And look at the strength of Anderson. He's hit and picks up another 5 yards off the spin.
He runs the way Peyton did 10 years ago, doesn't he?
He really does. There's another guy sitting on the bench that we may see sometime today, and that's Thomas Sanders, number 20, who can also fly.
Bears with a solid drive downfield. McMahon to McKinnon. Dennis McKinnon at the far stretches of the end zone, almost tucked it away. Kevin Ross got a hand in there.
I tell you, it's going to be difficult beating him deep. Look at Ross. Now, watch when he turns. When you turn away, he starts to lean back into McKinnon. He can feel him. He knows the ball is in the air, gets his hand in. Ross, and he has McKinnon man-to-man, but McMahon is looking at McKinnon all the way. At the end of this, you'll see Ross's arm right in, no chance to catch the ball. Excellent defense.
And pretty camera work. John Gonzalez, our director, and Larry Cirillo, our producer, right in the action. 2nd and 10. Blitz. Ooh, and Peyton took his eye off it as Dino Hackett came over to challenge.
Dino Hackett said, hey, you're going to be a Hall of Famer, and you're the greatest, maybe the greatest running back ever in the history of football, but if you're coming out there and you're going to catch it, I'm going to hit you. Walter does take his eye off the ball, hits him right in the helmet, but this is what they all booed about. Right at the end of this, Hackett threw Walter on the ground.
10th play of the drive at the 27 of Kansas City. Hackett last night, it's not true the story we heard today. They had a little Halloween costume party and he won, and they said, hey, wait, I haven't put the mask on yet.
When are you going to Kansas City again?
He's mean. No,
I know he is.
I know that's not a true story. 3rd and 10. Out of bounds. The intended receiver, Neil Anderson, as Hackett all the way into the end zone on the coverage, and it looked as if he was beaten all the way, but he stayed right on him, didn't he?
Watch what he does, though. Dino Hackett is a defensive back. Now you've got Anderson going down, and Hackett's got to run with him. He gives him the wide berth. Now watch what happens. He's looking at Anderson's eyes, and when Anderson's ready for the catch, watch him jump in the air right at the end, right now. He sees when the ball's there, he anticipated the ball being there, and that's not pass interference.
Look what Ditka's going to do. 4th down and 10. He's not going to go for field goal at the 27-yard line. He's going to go for a possible touchdown. He needs 10 to just sustain the drive. Boy, that's a bold move early in the second half. McMahon throws and misses Gentry by a mile, and Kansas City takes over on downs. Oh, my.
Well, this is the thing, that we talked about last night with Frank Gantz. He says they'll go on 4th down because of their defense.
Yeah, but they're down. That defense has them down by 2 touchdowns.
He took this to Ditka. Take a look. He's got his jacket off, and here comes McMahon, but he wasn't yelling at him, Dick. He was just explaining something. You threw to the wrong man.
Okoye and McMichael and Perry, the 2 tackles, drilling. short yardage. But Okoye is flirting with a 100-yard rushing game, and that is no mean feat against the Bears. Only once in the last 2 seasons has a man accomplished that. Eric Dickerson, middle of last year, 111 yards. And Okoye has 90.
Okoye is out. Herman Hurd's in.
Second and 9. Singletary on the blitz, and the throw to Hurd, well covered by Marshall. If that had been a good pass, Marshall would have had a touchdown for the Bears, and he was right there.
You can't, and Dick had told us about Marshall, you just can't take him off the field no matter what the situation is, because Wilbur Marshall can cover backs. He can, if he asks him to, I bet he can cover receivers. Maybe not Page.
Boy, he's tough. Last year, All-Pro, 4th in tackles, forced 4 fumbles, had 5 interceptions, 5.5 sacks, couple of touchdowns, and a par 3. Now the crowd trying to help out the Bears. We're down to 4 seconds. Hurd perhaps didn't, but he felt it. Richard Dent and company, Otis Wilson.
Here it goes. Now take a look. It's a draw play. Here comes Dent. There's Otis Wilson. Down goes Hurd.
With 6.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Goodburn, his 3rd punt. Dennis McKinnon has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year. First time in Bear history someone's been able to do it. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Here they come. And a dying spiral that McKinnon will let bounce, and it takes a Bear bounce to the 50-yard line. 23-yard punt.
At the 50, there's a flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Unnecessary roughness against the Chiefs.
Penalty is a face mask against Kansas City. At least that is how the public address announcer offered the information, and we'll wait for Tom Dooley to make it official. I know with a 23-yard punt, they may, unless they tack it on right here. And that is the discussion, whether or not it's a penalty to tack on now, or whether or not you go back and give them the option.
Decline, touchdown.
It would not have been tacked on, so the Bears decline. They'll take the short punt and start from the 49 of Kansas City.
And you sure didn't want him to punt again. Look at this. Here, Frank Gantz. You think he's happy with this? He loved this. He had the special teams. For what? For holding face masks.
And a timeout. 6:08 left in the 3rd quarter.
On the field.
Just reminding me that the largest crowd to ever see a football game here at Soldier Field, you said you were here in 1927 when USC and Notre Dame played before 123,000.
Yeah, but they never opened the gates, though. That's what was the problem. They were all outside. They never saw the game.
Hey, you surprised about Ditka not going for the field goal there?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that after this play, Dick. It does surprise me.
Neil Anderson trying to go wide. And he's cut off after about a 4-yard gain.
You know, you brought up the great point. They're down 14 points, the Chicago Bears. And it would have been about a 43, 44-yard field goal. Not out of Butler's range at all. There's no 2-point plays after a touchdown. So to get 2 touchdowns, you're still going to be tied. You're going to need a field goal somewhere along the line to win this game. And why they didn't take it at that point.
That is supreme confidence in the Bears' ability to the defense, which has held Kansas City, gives McMahon the ball right back in good field position. 2nd and 5. Anderson the other way. Yeah, they're starting to use him now. And Sherry gets him out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
You know why? The man we're talking about hadn't been carrying the ball very well, Walter Payton, but he gets a block on Pearson that you're not going to believe, puts him on the ground. Take a look at the left of your screen. Walter Payton is out to the outside. Look who is on the ground. Pearson's down. Payton puts him down. You knock off the outside linebacker. The only man that can force it is the weak safety, Deron Cherry. Here comes Payton. Down goes Pearson. The whole outside is wide open. The next guy to him, Deron Cherry, number 20.
Boy, like chopping down a tree. What a block by the veteran Payton. First down at the 26. McMahon off play action. Oh, right into the arms of Bill Moss. Or is it Still? It is Art Still, the 6'7" veteran who was in the right place, and boy, McMahon just hoping there wasn't someone there, but Still comes up with a sack. He's quite an interesting story. He and his wife, Liz, they want a family of between 10 and 15, they say. They've already adopted 3.
Well, better get some more, rent some kids. This was a great play. What I was laughing about is Willie Gault ran probably the longest route in pro football history. That's if your quarterback has 20 minutes to throw the ball, you can make all those moves.
Second and long, screen to Payton. Good blocks, 25. And out of bounds at the 17, close to a first down. Well, it's been a while since we've seen that strut kick of Payton in the open field. His trademark in his glory years here in Chicago.
57 Thayer coming out to the outside. Watch the block he gets. Here's a screen. 57 is there. That's Pearson again. Down. Once you take that outside linebacker down, Walter Payton shifted in the second gear. Picked up, what, 9 on it? Yeah.
Oh, 16. That was second and 17.
Right. It was a sack.
3rd and 1.
If he wouldn't have shifted, I think he might have had the first down.
Hit in the backfield, doesn't make it. What a defensive charge by the Chiefs as they beat the Bears at the line of scrimmage. Bill Moss.
Okay, Coach, if they don't have it, you kicking?
They're not going to send in the field goal unit again.
They lost a yard on the play. You're going to need a field goal sometime.
Maybe he's looking at overtime. He figures 2 touchdowns and that'll do it with 4.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter.
19 of 20 times inside the opponent's 20-yard line.
Ball is at the Kansas City 18-yard line. Again, Ditka forsakes a field goal, looking for a first down.
Go up the middle.
Anderson, I believe, has the first down.
I don't believe he does. I do not believe he does. He hit a wall.
The ball carrier.
He picked up the original yard that he had lost, but once he did that, I don't know if that was Hackett 56 that came in the middle or not. I don't think he made it.
I think he just did, Paul. It's going to be like about 2 pebbles of the leather on the nose of the ball.
A 2-pebble guy?
No measurement, first down.
Kansas City wants a measurement. Mike Smiler.
First down rush.
Well, had the Chiefs stopped him there twice, not going for the field goal, there'd been a lot of fodder for tomorrow's Monday morning quarterbacks.
Well, and we know now that all along, anytime they're down in this area, it's 4-down situation for them.
Anderson in motion. Oops! So is McMahon. And finally down by Mike Bell. Well, we saw him exercising that thigh earlier in the game, and he hasn't played. I mean, he's been working out, but this is the most McMahon has played since last November.
I think he got stepped on. It looked like the guard on the right side, which would be Thayer, number 57, stepped back and stepped on his foot. He's a little more agile than that.
He is very agile.
I'm not. He is. I mean, I would fall down running backwards. I'd fall down running front.
Second down. 17. 16 plus. McMahon over the middle. And a big gain. Dennis McKinnon with 12 yards, and McKinnon not getting up. Ball to the 10-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 4. McKinnon, we saw him go down in the Super Bowl 20. Remember when the Bears beat New England 46-10, missed all of last year, and has come back brilliantly this year.
Now, Hackett's going to come out to the outside. He's looking for McKinnon. You see him there, and Hackett misses him at this point. But here's the hit by Pearson in the back.
With a timeout, just under 3 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. 4th to 10 for McMahon. Over the middle. Neil Anderson. Pass was a little high. And one of the Chiefs down. Could be Hackett.
That's Hackett. Now, he hurt his neck in the first half.
Oh, he is tough.
He really is tough. He's going off the field. It is 4th down. Now they're going to kick a field goal. Do you believe this? All right, here comes Hackett. Right here. Neil Anderson. Hackett just goes one way. Anderson goes the other way.
An apparent 32-yard field goal. Make that 27 yards by Butler. And he drills it.
The kick is good. Score.
Apparently, Ditka not confidence in Butler, who has not had a good early season this year from outside 40. They finally get down, and Ditka takes the 3, and it's 28-17.
And one other thing, too, Dick, how many times are you going to attempt 4th down? The averages, the law of averages are against you that you're going to make it. They did it twice in a row.
They had 4th and 4 there. So it's 28-17 here in Chicago. New England has opened a 10-point lead. Pittsburgh by 3 at Miami. Washington apparently will win its 6th. Indianapolis buoyed by Eric Dickerson, a great player. Let's see, you picked the Jets, didn't you? I didn't. I just was curious. Tampa Bay 17 over Green Bay. Cincinnati has come back against Houston. New Orleans in a rout at Atlanta in the 3rd, and Philadelphia pounding on St. Louis. But the story of this football Sunday thus far is right here at Soldier Field. And the architect, Bill Kenny of Kansas City, with 4 touchdown passes against the highly regarded Bear defense to give the Chiefs a 2-touchdown or more underdog, the lead late in the 3rd period. 2.5 minutes remaining.
And it's still going to take 2 touchdowns to beat them. They've got the field goal out of the way.
This one won't be returned as Paul Palmer kneels, takes the touchback.
The touchback.
And Kenny in the offense on the field for Kansas City.
You know, they say when a team is behind that you can load up and go ahead and rush them because they're going to be throwing the ball. The Bears do it a little bit differently. Now they have a team that's going to want to knock off some time on that clock and try to run the ball. Watch these guys load up, go after the running game.
Okoye and Moriarty behind Kenny. No, it's Hurd. Yep. The parlor was full that time. No place for Hurd. Maybe a half yard. Boy, that Mike Singletary's a player. I mean, if you're choosing upside, just an attitude when you look into a guy's eyes, you got to pick him early.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same question. You forced him to get on the scale yesterday. I admire your courage.
I said, please. Kenny rolling. Flag. The catch by Carson. Is that no, he's out of bounds, and there may have been motion against Kansas City.
I don't know if Mike Singletary was so close to being over the ball. I mean, he was leaning over talking to Kenny.
Offsides, defense, 2nd down.
You're right.
Pass was incomplete.
Mike saved 5 yards against Mike. Just to go back to complete the story, Singletary is listed at 235 pounds. When you see him in the locker room, you can't believe that he weighs that much. I said, come on, you don't weigh 218. He got on the scales, and he's 231 stripped yesterday.
And that's after practice. You just saw Singletary there. He was almost on it. Now look at it.
Is that intimidating?
Well, he's across the line of scrimmage. I guess it's intimidating. And when Kenny looked up and said, hey, man, you got some bad breath. You happen to be in my face.
2nd down and 5. Draw to Moriarty. He's dropped for a loss. Richard Dent in the backfield for Chicago.
You know who made the tackle? Addix, his offensive guard. I don't know. Now, Dent's there, but watch where they drive the center. Watch where Moriarty hits. He hits his own man. He hits the center. That's McMichaels. Took the guard in the center back into the ball carrier. Dent just cleaned it up.
3rd and 6. eyes. Look at those eyes.
Get him in the eyes.
1:04 left in the third period. 3rd and 6. Nobody there. That looked like a little hitch and go down the sidelines, but receiver Colbert just hooked to the sidelines and stopped.
It was supposed to be just a straight fly pattern on that play, and Kenny knew that what happens, he read blitz. There was no blitz, and he threw the ball. They just didn't continue the pattern.
Oh, Kelly Goodburn, who did not have a good kick his last try, and Dennis McKinnon. Look out. He's okay, shaken after the pass reception, but a threat to go all the way. At the 35 of the Bears is McKinnon. 10 men on the line of scrimmage.
And what that does is that forces the punt team to bring the 2 outside guys in, and they can't get anybody down. There's movement in the Kansas City line. They got to throw a flag.
Kansas City did move. Penalty flag is down, but McKinnon will go after it anyway. 45-50 and down at the 48. Good field position. Lewis Cooper made the tackle. 38-yard punt. 10 yards on the return.
Brought down by Pearson.
Refuse this one.
A 37-yard punt. There's a flag on the play.
You know, this is what it does to the offense. Now, you look at the punt team, and they know that they have 10 men up there. And watch these guys. You talk about back on your heels. Look at those feet. There's no way to stay up.
Number 55 on the kicking team. Penalty is declined. First down.
How many times do you talk about intimidation? And that's a classic example of it.
And it starts right there.
Yeah.
You look in the face of that man. You think he doesn't get after his own players the way Singletary goes after quarterbacks?
Covered 14 yards. The Bears.
When he speaks, you must listen.
It's so right that he's back here in Chicago as the head coach. It would have been so wrong for him to go somewhere else.
He is a Bear.
So from the 48, McMahon goes to work. Walter Payton in the flat. Diving down to the 43. Dino Hackett and Kevin Ross. That could be the last play of the quarter. Clock is down to 29 seconds.
43.
McMahon probably will get one more off.
See Jack Del Rio coming in and shaking his head. Peyton still has a little bit left. He's shaking his head. I know I had him lined up. I was going to zero in on him, and all of a sudden he disappeared.
Anderson, a wonderful catch by Anderson. Appeared he stabbed it one-handed at the end of the third quarter. Del Rio on the coverage close to a first down. And that is the end of the third quarter at Soldier Field in Chicago. As you see McMahon hit Anderson. Anderson delivers. And the Bears close to a first down. The score after 3 periods, 28-17, underdog Kansas City. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. After 3 quarters, a look at the official statistics. Again, bearing out the domination of the ball of the Chiefs, 26-40 to 18-20, although the Bears had it a bit more in the third. 275 yards to 181. Only 44 yards rushing for the Bears, and that is their strength.
Well, the other side, someone must have told them that Christian Okoye was close to 100 yards, and they've been shutting him down.
The Bears opened the fourth quarter. They measured, and that was a first down. No, it was not. 3rd and less than a yard. Bears, usually they're the ones who have that advantage.
Play action. Huh?
Go for it. 3rd and 2.
Yo.
Look at Still. He's playing stand-up end here on this side. McMahon chased down from behind by Aaron Pearson, 96. Del Rio also in on the play. It appears that he picked up a yard. We'll see where they spot it.
First of all, I think the ball was centered early. And then on top of it, I don't think Willie Gault had to play because McMahon was looking to fire at Willie Gault right now. And all of a sudden, Willie Gault, he's just running down the field, jogging down at the top side over there. And you don't want McMahon running around as banged up as he's been and to get him hurt.
Well, you absolutely do not. As you look at McMahon, one of the points we should make about his surgery and the injury is rehabilitation. He is in better shape now, perhaps than any time since he's been in the NFL. He is really solid, and part of that therapy was to really get himself keenly in condition.
We got a body laying over there. Kansas City guy face down.
It is a first down. We'll see if we can, through the crowd, pick out the injured chief. Could be Hackett, could be Pearson. It's Pearson, Aaron Pearson.
Now what do they do in the middle? Who goes in now? Is Hackett back? Yeah, he's back. Why not?
First down, Bears, inside the 38 of Kansas City. Let's watch how Pearson was hurt. That's 96 chasing McMahon.
Well, he's holding his stomach, so and it looks like his heels came up and kicked him and got kneed in the stomach. He just rolled right off the field.
I don't think it had anything to do with the yardstick. They rolled that away.
No, I think his knees caught him right in the stomach when he came down on McMahon. He's up. He's all right. They cracked that little smelling thing under your nose.
What are you pointing at 35 again, Neil Anderson, for? You got a feeling his number is going to be called here?
Every time he's touched the ball, he's picked up 8, 9, 10 yards. You've got to go to Anderson. Use him in the game.
Payton is to the right and Anderson at left halfback, and they're both in the pass pattern. They go to Payton, and he has about 8. Well, they're certainly giving Anderson more attention, the defense, as well.
Yeah, they are, and it looks like the Chicago Bears are lining up on the ball. They're going to go with the hurry-up offense.
That's interesting. Without a huddle, McMahon calling the play. 1 minute into the fourth quarter, trailing 28-17. Underneath Anderson, first down at the 25. Dino Hackett and Jack Del Rio with a tackle.
McMahon can keep doing this because what happened is there's no blitz on. They're covering, the linebackers are covering Walter Payton and Neil Anderson coming out of the backfield. But what the linebackers are doing, they're dropping off about 8 yards and they're giving him that 5-yard pattern. Go ahead and take it.
No huddle again. This time he's going for it all. Touchdown, Willie Gault. Yards for the former Olympian Willie Gault, and it's 28-23 as Butler tries to point after. Only the second catch of the game for Gault.
And Dick, when we come back, I'll show you how Willie Gault set up this touchdown. He did it beautifully on Albert Lewis.
And McMahon using a no-huddle offense to register the score, a 4-point game.
26 yards.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Tandy Computers, because there is no better value, only at Radio Shack. And by Liberty Mutual, for your personal insurance, business insurance, and financial service needs.
The Bears pulling within 4, and the long kick by Butler to Paul Palmer, who will take it at the 20. And now that Bear defense is going to tee off on Kenny. And Kenny, in your thoughts, Paul McGuire, cannot go conservative. But first, go back to the Willie Gault score.
I said before with the commercial how Willie Gault sets this up. Now watch what happens when Willie Gault gets down about the 10-yard line. He's going to look to the inside. As soon as he does that, watch Albert Lewis, 29. Look at his head. When he turns him in, he goes back to the outside. McMahon throws the ball where Albert Lewis just does not have a chance to get it. It's now touchdown.
28-24, Kansas City. 13 minutes left. Moriarty, no gain. Wilbur Marshall made the play. From Chicago, we go to New York NFL Live.
This is Bob Costas in New York. Dan Marino is at it again, and the Dolphins have overcome the Steelers' early advantage, leading 28-24 now as Mark Clayton catches his second touchdown pass of the day. Marino has thrown for 4, and in just 4 games this year, he has 14 touchdown passes.
All right, Bob, and here Bill Kenny has 4 touchdown passes. Looking for 5, and he overshoots Carson, covered by Reggie Phillips. 3rd and 10.
I am really glad to see that, and you mentioned it, Dick. He's got 4 touchdown passes, he being Kenny. What got you 4 touchdowns was throwing the ball. Go back to your game plan. Don't sit there and wait on the clock to go down. Give the Bears a chance to pin you in your own territory. Open the game back up again. You've got a 4-point lead. Go ahead after it.
12 completions, and 1/3 of those touchdowns. Shotgun. Flag down as Dent and Hampton nail Kenny.
Yeah, but they may, it looked like Dent on the top side was offside. But they're saying that the movement against Kansas City. Yeah.
Illegal motion, 76 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Yeah, John Ault trying to block Dent. Pulled back too soon. Anticipating the rush.
John Ault is over to the right of the screen, and that's where it happened. And look at Kenny, didn't have any time.
Goodburn's kick takes a good roll, but here comes McKinnon all the way to the 42-yard line. So the Bears once again start with a possession in Kansas City territory. And this crowd now is really alive. They're on their feet.
Don't be surprised to see McMahon go back out and do the same thing he did in that last drive. Take Walter Payton, take Neil Anderson out, hook them at 5 yards. If they're not going to blitz and you're going to cover them with linebackers, go ahead and throw the ball to them. If they catch it, break a tackle, may be able to pick up 15.
Payton up the middle, scrambles for 3. 12 minutes and 15 seconds left here in Chicago. They're in the 4th quarter around the league. Marino with another big day for Miami.
Buffalo's on the board.
We'll give you the rest of those scores after this play. McMahon wasting no time between plays. Underneath to the tight end, Bozo. He has 1 touchdown. Oh, they love that. That's a Ditka kind of run after a catch.
That's what I was talking about 2 plays ago. You throw that little dump pass for 5 yards. If you break a tackle, you're going to make it a 12-yard gain and not a 5-yard gain. If that's what they're going to give you, go ahead and take it.
Ball to the 28, 1st down. No huddle again for McMahon. And this time it's the Chiefs who score at least a brief point as they sack McMahon.
Ma's in there.
4th sack today for Kansas City, Bill Moss.
2nd and 16. It's a 34.
I watched Payton that time. He came out and he looped. He went straight down the field, and I think McMahon looked at him right quick to see if it was going to be that little short hookup. Let's get the 5 yards. But Walter kept right on going. Of course, he didn't have any time either.
Loss of 6 on the play. 2nd and 16. Anderson. Just wasn't there. He had thoughts about reversing his field, but to all sides were white jerseys.
You've got to talk about the great play that time of Albert Lewis. You remember Albert Lewis just got Payton for a touchdown by Willie Gault. Now they throw a pitch to Neil Anderson, and he's 5 yards in the backfield. He didn't make the tackle, but what he did do was slow down Anderson long enough for the defense to get there.
Albert Lewis,
you think
29.
he'd be off the line of scrimmage. Here he is right here. There's Albert Lewis in the backfield. Watch, he won't make the tackle, but what he creates is a loss because he lets the defense get there.
3rd and 17, a loss of 1 on the play. Man dumps it off, incomplete. Anderson, they're just trying to get the ball underneath, use his natural talent in the open field to get the yardage, but too tall, and McMahon could not be more unhappy with himself.
And Dick, that's a pretty good play except for one thing. It was 3rd down and about 18, and they were throwing a 4-yard pattern, and now you want him to pick up a 10 on top of it. wasn't going to happen.
Kevin Butler is in the game. This would be a 52-yard attempt. Mike Tomczak to hold. Tomczak, of course, a backup quarterback in case it is a fake. Butler drills it, and it's wide to the left. No good. So Butler misses from 52 after Ditka spurned a couple of much shorter field goal tries in the third quarter going the other way. Indeed, the wind, however light it may be, is blowing in the back of Butler in the fourth quarter. It remains 28-24. Be honest.
Okay.
How does this compare? I mean, really where the action is with Pickingham back in the studios in New York.
Well, you know, I've got 3 hours and 15 minutes to do something here. Back there, I've got almost 2 minutes. You got to think about that.
And you say so much.
I picked the wrong teams, what I do.
You get those out of Wheaties boxes, those clicks? They start from the 35, Kansas City does, after the missed field goal, and Kenny has a man wide open. Oh, what a catch! That ball was beyond Stephon Page, and he was able to spear what appeared to be the back end of the ball. As Kenny drills 152 yards, Page was 10 yards in the clear.
Well, Vesty Jackson, I don't know what he did, whether he stopped and thought he had something deep, but on the top of the screen, Kenny sees him. If he doesn't overthrow him, it's a touchdown. You take a look what Stephon Page had to do here. He had to outrun the ball and then make the dive for the catch to get him to the ball at the 16 or 7 or the 15-yard line. It was a great effort.
I didn't like his touchdown catch earlier in this half. So suddenly Kansas City is in field goal range, and Okoye fumbles, and the Bears have it. Doerson at the 21-yard line.
Aren't you a guy a quarter ago, oh, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, that said how many times this young man fumbled in college?
Well, let's see if he was down or not, or whether Doerson was already down when he recovered the fumble. They're going to look at that one, I think, on the replay. We'll look at it, too.
All right. Long bomb here. Here comes the ball. No, he's not down. That ball is out. Singletary's the man, number 50, that stripped it. Doerson picks it up, but that's a fumble.
No question. And
you jinxed him. You.
So the Chiefs, who are in field goal range, and, of course, looking for more than that with a 28-24 lead, lost opportunity. The first turnover by Kansas City in the game. Time called, and we would suspect, as it was called in this manner, they may be checking on the instant replay, but from our angle, clearly a fumble. The only question might have been if someone accidentally had hit Doerson while he was down recovering it. Plenty of time left.
It's a fumble, boys. It's the easy one. This may be the easiest one they had all year. I like it. First down. Sounds like a barker at the circus. First down. There it is. Singletary just gets his arm in there and strips the ball out. Marshall's there.
Now that could have gone for a touchdown. That was very close to Doerson coming out of the pack and going all the way. McMahon underneath. Hey, that bozo's a load.
Dick, this is what we're talking about. I don't want to keep harping on this thing, but that was like a 4-yard pattern. Bozo on top of it catches the ball and picks up another 4 or 5 or 3 or 4, and now you're looking at 2nd and 1. Now you can do anything you want. Play action, send the big guy deep, run the ball.
Anderson right into Del Rio. Good solid tackle by the outside linebacker, number 50. That Bozo reminds you of Bavaro a little bit of the Giants, doesn't he, when he catches the ball and turns upfield.
Not only can he block, but he catches the ball, but he knows what to do with it after he catches the ball.
If you weren't with us earlier, the starter, Emory Moorhead, the talented veteran of the Bears, had a fumble after a reception and then had a pass go through his hands that was intercepted by Kansas City in the first half and was benched by Ditka. And Bozo, B-O-S-O, from Illinois, a rookie, has taken over rather well. 3rd and 1. And that'll get the first down.
For the Bears, first
8-minute mark of the fourth quarter. First down Bears. They trail by 4. The Raiders pull within 3. Miami another score to lead by 11. Washington by 20 at Buffalo. Indianapolis a close one against the Jets. Tampa Bay an apparent winner. Cincinnati by 2. McMahon again, no huddle. Wide open is Galt.
Burris knocked his helmet off.
21 yards. Look at Galt. They're not using a huddle again. That's been effective. It doesn't give Kansas City a chance to do those multiple replacements on defense or reset their defense.
And it just keeps them with 4 defensive backs, 4 down linemen, and 3 linebackers.
He's going to, with a first down now, he is going to call a play or 2 in that huddle.
McMahon's limping.
At the 46-yard line, 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Anderson. About 10 more before Kevin Ross could make the tackle. A flag is down. It's against the Bears for motion.
When you get on the bad list, let me put it that way, of Mike Ditka, like Moorhead did, you kind of disappear. I was trying to find him down there. Well, he's there. I just saw him. I don't know whether he allows you back on the field or not.
86 offense.
Good example of that is Mike Richardson, the starting cornerback who didn't sign, held out, came to camp late. He still hasn't found that starting job. He's not back in there.
Got to earn things.
In a long time, 7 years since the Bears' home cooking hasn't provided a win against the AFC. First and 15 from the Bear 49 as McMahon limping to the line of scrimmage.
Go back to the little dump passes again.
Underneath, you're right, Anderson. And it's good for about 8-9 yards. Pete Koch trailing the play, made the tackle, and here goes McMahon again, calling the offense without a huddle.
Got someone down again, Kansas City player down. The only thing about that play, though, Dick, that little dump pass, the clock keeps going, and you eat up a lot of time on the clock, but they're only 4 down. A touchdown wins the game for him. Take a look at it. Here comes Anderson. He's out. The linebackers are beyond him. That's a 4-yard pattern. Now catch it. 1, 2, 3, 4 more yards. You pick up 8. You do that on first down, just move the length of the field. And then when they make the adjustment, now that opens the middle like it did a little while ago with Willie Galt.
This game is the property of the National Football League. The Bears and Chiefs, all rights reserved. And it is interesting that the Bears have become America's team in terms of the NFL properties. Of all of the NFL material, caps, jackets, jerseys, that sort of thing, sold last year, over 19% of it had a Bear logo on it. So they are the people's choice around the country.
I've got an old Bear t-shirt. I'm not going to let you have it either. Hey, Ditka seemed worried yesterday when he left after the practice session. He had a foot-long cigar, had his golf clubs in the back of his Rolls Royce, and drove off and played 9.
A man in this town who brings a Super Bowl championship to this city can drive in and do anything he wants.
That's right. But don't lean on his car.
Aaron Pearson, the injured Kansas City player, being helped off the field and under his own power. It's been a rough quarter for him. That's twice he's been hurt.
You know, I think the adjustment that Kansas City's going to have to make now is bring those linebackers up a little bit closer. Don't play that 7 to 10. Play it at 5, because you've got a tremendous secondary back there with, you know, the likes of Ross, Cherry, Burris, and Lewis. These guys can play back. Get those linebackers up on the backs.
Second down and 7. Willie Galt wide open in front of Albert Lewis.
But see what happens, Dick? Now when you move the linebackers up, now it opens the middle. Here comes Galt across the middle. There's no linebacker help for Albert Lewis, 29. Willie Galt is hit right in the hands with the ball and dropped it.
Well, he was brilliant on the touchdown reception and then loses one that he'll try to get back. 3rd and 7.
That's scary sometimes to catch the ball over the shoulder, the almost impossible catch, and then they hit you in the hands.
Too much time to think about it. The Bears and McMahon have used a timeout at 5:45 left in the fourth quarter. Underdog Kansas City still in front, 28-24. Throughout. Chiefs by 4, but the Bears on a critical 3rd and 7 at the Chiefs 43.
Critical situation. Blitz him.
Reverse to Anderson. To the 35, and it looks to be good enough for a first down. We'll see.
Is that the old Statue of Liberty? It looked like he faked like he was going to throw. It's the Statue of Liberty, and it is reversed. No, well, almost. But, you know, since they've gotten this man involved in the ball game, this is an altogether different offense, Dick, than we saw in the first half.
Well, there's another money play. They needed 7. They go to reverse, and he gets them 7.5, 8 yards. And the drive still alive with 5:05 left in the fourth quarter. Art Still pushing McMahon out of bounds. That'll be for a loss, so that will count as another sack for Still and the Chiefs. He's had a big game, Art Still. That's his 3rd. He had 10.5 sacks to lead Kansas City last year, and going into this year, 67, his number, was his career total.
McMahon rolling out there, and he saw her Still, and he said, wait a minute, now I know how fast he is, and I know how fast I'm not. So I think I'll go to the sideline. And the one thing about McMahon, too, did not throw the ball away, just up for grabs. All right, we've got our football team is moving. I'll take the 3-yard loss, and then let's get on with it.
Morse, the rookie, out of your picture to the left, and Galt split to the right. Underneath to Anderson. No, it's Galt.
Did you see McMahon when he came to the line of scrimmage? There was an official standing right in the middle of the field. He looked around him to see where the safety was. And then he throws it to Galt across the middle, makes the turn, and outran everybody.
Galt's 2nd touchdown, more than making amends for that drop. Butler's try for a point. For the first time today, the Bears lead with 4:44 left. It's 31-28.
Dick, when McMahon came out of the huddle, went under the center, he looked around the middle linebacker trying to find out where the safety was. Once he reads the safety, Deron Cherry going out to his right, the right of the screen, he just brings Galt underneath, makes the turn, and ran away from Cooper.
As you look back at so many incidents in this game, as McMahon again drilling it to Galt, he got the whole defense flowing as if he was going to cross the field, and Galt cut back.
Yeah, once he looked at the line of scrimmage and he saw that the middle was going to be open, he knew that Galt would be the man he's going to throw to, because that was his pattern. But to show you the speed of Willie Galt is once he caught the ball, he made a quick turn, and bang, he was gone. Outran Deron Cherry and Cooper, the linebacker. Here it comes. This is what McMahon was looking at. He knew that Deron Cherry was going to be out of there, covering Galt deep to the outside. So what he did is he brought him underneath. Once Galt catches, Deron Cherry comes into the picture. He can't get to him. He knocks off Lewis Cooper. Ross can't catch him. It's touchdown.
McMahon's numbers shooting up positively. 23 for 34, nearly 300 yards. He has 3 touchdown throws to Kenny's 4. That drive of 79 yards and 9 plays started after Okoye fumbled deep in Chicago territory. So a complete turnaround when Kansas City, a chance to take a more than a touchdown lead, loses the opportunity, and McMahon takes the Bears back to gain the lead. 31-28, plenty of time, 4:42 left, and Paul Palmer frustrated frustrated, takes another touchback.
Now, didn't the Bears they only had 19 plays in the first half, correct? I think in the first half they had 19 plays. They have a bunch now.
Here comes Kenny, who's had a big day. 4 touchdown throws, and nearly had another, except that he overshot Stephon Page, who was wide open on the last possession. And that proved critical because Okoye fumbled shortly thereafter.
Well, now he's got Carlos Carson down here all by himself with Reggie Phillips, number 48, trying to cover him.
8 seconds on the 30-second clock. Oh, my. Mike Richardson, a 5th defensive back, ever so close to taking that one for 6.
Mike Richardson sat up on the tight end and hit himself, and Kenny didn't see him. What he did see, Carlos Carson out here on Reggie Phillips one-on-one. But as the ball was snapped, Richardson snuck out to the outside. If he, like you said, if that ball was a little bit softer, it's 7.
Carson, first down, 37, and that is the pattern that requires a huge heart inside that wide receiver.
And it also has to be a great arm by the quarterback, because Kenny, if you take a look at it from the perspective of from the end zone, there's almost like 4 defensive backs there.
Well, the statistics tell the story, although it was only 21-14 Kansas City at the half. Same pattern, other side to Carson, and he was one man from a touchdown, that man being the tackler Dave Dorson. Another first down at the Bear 47-yard line. Well, win or lose, the fans in Kansas City who have had a long fall and cheering for the Chiefs have to be proud of how hard they played and well against this Chicago team.
And I'll tell you, only one more first down puts Lowry in field goal range, because he's got a strong leg.
3.5 minutes remain. Plenty of time on the 30-second clock. Whoa! Herman Hurd slicing to the 43. Mike Richardson. Dan Hampton in on the tackle. See where they spot it. That'll be getting close to 5.
Dick, when you think back to the first quarter when Kenny was really picking the Chicago Bear defense apart, they were running a safety blitz with Durson. We have not seen that safety blitz since the first quarter, since they went up 2 touchdowns. We may see it. You've got to send somebody.
Herman Hurd able to fall on his own mistake at the 50-yard line, and that one was about to take a big Bear bounce when Hurd smothered it for a loss.
A loss of 8.
3 wide receivers. Harry Marshall comes in, Dick.
Carlos Carson, while we have a quick moment to duck it in, he follows up his 9-catch, 2-touchdown, 190-plus yards last week with 7 catches, a touchdown, 137 yards today.
You don't have to back in and get your check. Go in front.
3rd and 13 for Kenny. Here they come. No one there. Carlos Carson wanted a penalty flag for a hold, but he wasn't near the ball anyway.
The rush by Durson. It's been since the first quarter. All of a sudden, they brought the safety blitz on that play.
That brings us to the 2-minute timeout. 1 minute, 59 seconds left. Kansas City staring at 4th and 13. Will Gans go? You bet.
Has given up more yards to Peyton than any other. The Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Which would you choose?
There's a place where time has stood still.
Packers. If you said Green Bay, you made the right choice.
The Chiefs, big underdogs, leading throughout. They had a 28-14 lead early in the 3rd period when Kenny hit Page a 43-yard score, but the Bears on a 32-yard field goal by Butler and 2 Willie Gault touchdown receptions from Jim McMahon have taken the lead 31-28 with 1:59 left. And for the first time, a few smiles on the Chicago sidelines. And there are 2 most valuable players in the game, Jim McMahon and Bill Kenny. The award sponsored by Budweiser. And to those 2 number 9s, Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of the most valuable players today and all the games selected throughout the NFL this afternoon. Look at McMahon turns cheerleader. 4th and 13. This is it for Kansas City.
How big that Hampton blocked field goal is, huh? Snap the ball when you get him offside.
Carson, is it a good? No, out of bounds. Carson came down with it, but out of bounds. And he did an outstanding job of getting his body to the ball.
That ball was just thrown a little bit too far, but Carlos Carson, watch this. He just gets away from the defender. And when he does that, that's Reggie Phillips. Carson did not have control. But the question, the thing that they look at is, could he have come down because he was pushed out by the defensive back? McMahon's watching the play. Out, yeah. Well, he has those stripes on his arms. He could call that.
He's back in the huddle now calling the signals. And now it's up to Kansas City to use whatever timeouts are remaining. We're trying to get an official word. That is not information listed here on the scoreboards at Soldier Field as to the timeouts left. Anderson protecting the ball as he gets to the 48. Understand Kansas City now calling timeout. That's the first one they've used here in the second half. 1:46 remaining, and the Bears by 3. Report card first for Kansas City. Kenny certainly gets some A's today. 4 touchdown passes, a personal high. Okoye had 83 yards rushing in the first half, only 10 in the second. And Page and Carson have been brilliant. 121, 137 yards for those 2 wideouts and a touchdown apiece. We'll look at the Bear card after this play. 2nd and 7. 1 minute 46 seconds left. The Bears just trying to run it out with the lead. Anderson again protecting the ball. Timeout Kansas City. 1 timeout remaining for the Chiefs as Del Rio makes the tackle on Anderson.
Dick, there was just one point in this game where the Kansas City Chiefs stopped doing the things that got them their first 21 points. And when they did that, they gave the ball game back to Chicago.
The Bears, McMahon with a brilliant second half. He's only missed on 11 passes today, 3 touchdown throws. I shall return, he says. Anderson, 52 yards rushing. Bozo has contributed with a touchdown and 51 yards. Gentry with that big touchdown return on a kickoff that really kept the Bears in the game in the first half. Willie Gault didn't make the list. That's how many. Willie Gault only had a couple of touchdowns here in the 4th quarter to really put the exclamation point on the Bear comeback.
You notice you look at the Bears on the sideline, you got Ditka running all over the place, yelling and screaming. This team, they have 45 guys on it. They just walk around. They know that they can win. They know they're never out of a ball game.
There's Gault's numbers for today. It's a big play for Kansas City. They have to stop the Bears. Reverse. And it's Payton who winds up with the ball on the fake. Reverse and a first down. And with that, Kansas, and a flag is down. Face mask against Kansas City.
We said he's lost a step, and Walter has not had a great game. He's in there. He's an inspirational player. But just take a look at what Walter does on this play to get the first down because it wasn't there. Here comes Dino Hackett. He hits him, and that's not first down. Ross is there, number 31. He hits him. Del Rio, number 50, gets there, but Payton gets the first down.
And with that, Kansas City already having used 2 of its timeouts, and now another 4 downs for the Bears, so it's academic. Payton finishes, or at least at this point, 8 carries, only 15 yards. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. So first down with 1:30 left. And the Bears apparently back-to-back Sundays with come-from-behind wins. Anderson trying to stay in bounds and does. Want to thank our Corps de Costanza, Joe Costanza and company, Tom Baldessari, John Engler, Ted Carlson, Craig Chevelle for their help today. Raiders also on the comeback.
Picked them.
Miami has won it. That was one of your picks, Raiders?
Raiders. Raiders.
Well, who'd you have in the Washington-Buffalo game?
I didn't do that one.
Which ones did you have? Yeah, the Jets. That one's the downer, huh? You're down on that one.
They didn't listen.
Indianapolis wins. Hey, the Colts are going to be a factor now with Dickerson, and they're 4-3. No worse than a tie for first. Ooh, St. Louis has scored a bunch in a hurry.
They did. Atlanta's in trouble.
Yeah, it's over, though.
I know.
That's
they're in a lot of trouble all year.
And now it's just the one part of the game that I guess the brightest minds in football can't prevent. That's where you can end a game by sitting on the pill. Just let it ride out.
This was a great football game. I don't care, you know, when you take a team, I said the one thing about Kansas City, if they got behind against the Chicago Bears, I didn't think that they could come from behind to win it. But you got to feel it. You always know that the Bears can come from behind. The Kansas City Chiefs, when I said something to you before at the beginning of the game, as long as they didn't turn the ball over, they're fine. The long pass to Page, next play, Christian Okoye, fumble, cost them the ball game.
But you know, great teams find a way to win, don't they, Paul? Look what the Bears have done, even though it wasn't their best game. Dan Hampton blocks a field goal, or we would be tied. Gentry returns a kickoff for a touchdown for a quick 7 in the first half. They forced the fumble of Okoye here late in the game to deny Kansas City a chance to build their lead back over a touchdown lead. They found a way to win again. And sometimes, and I'm sure that Ditka will be unhappy when he looks at the films, it wasn't the Bears' best effort, but they've come out of Tampa Bay 27-26, and they're going to win today 31-28 when they really, and the frustration of the opponents, really should have lost both games. But they were good enough to pull it out.
You make a great point about the fact that great teams like the Bears, great football teams, good football teams, know that they're never out of it. A struggling team like the Kansas City Chiefs get away from what got him to 21 to 28 points. All of a sudden, they're trying to protect the lead. The Bears don't do that. They go after the lead, and that's the difference.
That was the last timeout used by Kansas City. 1:14 left, so really only 2 more snaps of the ball, and McMahon does the NFL kneel, and it's over. Oh, Jim McMahon, after shoulder surgery, second half last week, was 17 for 24. Another great game today. Anderson. Oh, I don't know about that. Running that play with Anderson carrying, everyone diving for the ball, but he hangs on. McMahon hitting 23 of 34, and Kenny equally brilliant, but not good enough to win it. Chiefs will lose their 6th straight game, but they will find that they're capable of, as you said, they're a good enough team to beat anyone, and they showed that today.
I think the good thing, too, is a week ago they made a decision that Kenny is now going to be our quarterback and not Blackledge. And if you looked at his performance against San Diego, very good. If you look at his performance today against Chicago, very good. So I think that's the confidence factor he needed.
Stay tuned for NFL Live and rundown of all the scores. And Paul, I really enjoyed the opportunity to have you in the booth out here and tell all of the guys back in New York that we enjoy all their terrific work, and they will run into each other again before the year's over.
Well, Merlin Olsen told me you were easy to work with, but he lied. No, I really enjoyed it, my friend. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been an outstanding game, and the final seconds tick away as the Chicago Bears, with only 1 defeat, replacement loss. And although Kansas City has this final opportunity, and Kenny has certainly shown that he can hit long, but he's got some Bears playing way downfield.
I'd get somebody down about the 20-yard line to him waiting.
Carson, no, it's intercepted by Reggie Phillips. at the 48-yard line, and the tackle made by Carson, and every official threw his flag on that obvious face mask.
I mean, the game's over, but that'll be one of those 15-yard face masks, because he not only held on to the face mask but spun him around and threw him down, and now Carlos is apologizing.
Yeah, he was just continuing his motion and just grabbed whatever he could get.
He swung him all the way around, did a 360 with his head. And that should be a 15-yard deal. It doesn't make any difference anyway. It's all over.
Well, Kenny, with no timeouts and the full field to go, just didn't have too many options open.
That is not a happy man.
Well, it started so brilliantly for Kansas City with their 4 wins in the preseason, 4-1, and all the hopes that go with it, and then the opening day win against the Chargers, and now 6 straight defeats. It is a team that has talent, and I guess it's kind of like playing that front 9 when you're already 20 over par and wondering if you're going to have a good day on the course. This then should be the final play of the game.
That'll do it.
We're going to endeavor to get Jim McMahon for his comments to see whether the quarterback of the Bears will be available.